ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and Google Gemini all have newer reasoning models that could outperform older models in pretty much every single benchmark. So I wanted to make a very comprehensive video and put them through the ultimate test. So we're gonna take this across 10 different prompts, and this is gonna start easy and it's gonna get pretty much impossible by the end. And we're gonna use ChatGPT o3 mini, we're gonna use DeepSeek R1, and we're gonna use Google Gemini's Flash thinking models. This video is brought to you by HubSpot, more on that in a bit. Now, before I jump into the prompts, let me give you a quick background on what these reasoning models are. So every AI model and chatbot before the release of reasoning models gave you the answer as quickly as it could. So when you use ChatGPT 3.5, 4.0, you gave the prompt and it gave you the answer. Reasoning models actually take their time. They break down the question you're asking into smaller parts and they think through before they quickly respond to you. So some questions will take a few seconds of thinking, some questions will take up to several minutes of thinking. So this technique is called chain of thought. And you could even look on your screen and see the actual thinking process before they give you an answer to see how they break down each problem. Now let's get into our test. For the very first prompt, I actually have 3 different questions that I've tested these models with before in previous videos. So I just bundled those as prompt set number 1, and we'll get much more complicated as we go. Okay, so with ChatGPT, I'm choosing ChatGPT o3 mini. I'm using this under my Teams plan right now, but it is available under the free plan. You're just gonna get a limitation on how often you could use it. And I'm also using DeepSeek on their website here, and I have R1 reasoning model turned on. I'm not gonna turn on search, this is free. Now I have Google Gemini Advanced, which is a paid upgrade, but you will also get 2.0 Flash Thinking Experimental with your free account too. And they have another one called 2.0 Flash Thinking Experimental with apps. This will combine it with things like search and YouTube. We're not gonna use that one again. We're gonna use this one. So all 3 different models I'm showing you here have a search functionality that you could combine with reasoning, and it makes it really a lot more powerful than just using the reasoning model if you're looking for up-to-date information. For my questions, I'm not looking for up-to-date information. I'm just looking for its reasoning powers. And ChatGPT is going to do some reasoning here. And then you could kind of see its thinking process over here. And if you click on this right here, you'll see exactly how much thinking it had to do to answer. In this case, it got it right, 3 R's in strawberry. It actually didn't do much thinking. It's really interesting to see the thinking of each one here. And in future prompts, I'm not going to really dive too deep into showing you the thinking. I just want to show you for this very first one how it goes through the process. DeepSeek does a much more elaborate breakdown as it's thinking through a problem. So it's gonna go through. It's a little bit slower too compared to ChatGPT. So it came to the right answer, 3 R's in strawberry. But let me show you the reasoning here it had to do to come up with that. You see that? You had to break it down multiple times. It took 88 seconds. If I look at ChatGPT, it took 5 seconds. So keep that in mind. DeepSeek, I found, is the slowest by far of these models, but sometimes with these type of reasoning models, you're not really too concerned about speed. You're just trying to get more accuracy. So we'll see how this kind of shapes up. Now let's use the Gemini thinking model here. Now this one is the fastest by far. So right there, 3 R's in strawberry, and the answer was instant, right? It maybe took 2 seconds, right? It doesn't tell you how long it was thinking for though, like the other models do. But here is just the thinking process, very straightforward. He spelled it out. He found R here, he found R here, he found R here, and he gave you the answer here. Now, which one's bigger, 9.11 and 9.9? By the way, the reason why I use those 2 questions all the time, those are directly from OpenAI's test when they first released o1, their very first reasoning model. And right here, 9.9 is larger than 9.11. It took just a few seconds. DeepSeek, 9.9 is bigger, but let's see, 37 seconds of thinking to come to that. And Gemini, again, a little bit of thinking, a few seconds here, pretty much matched the speed of the ChatGPT model. 9.9 is bigger. Now the next one, which came first, chicken or the egg? The answer is egg came first. The first true chicken likely hatched from an egg laid by a bird that was almost but not exactly a chicken. DeepSeek, we got the same answer. And Gemini says the most scientifically sound and widely accepted answer is that the egg came first. Same reason there. Okay, so that was all part of prompt set number 1. Now I'm gonna go to more complicated questions, and we're gonna get pretty much near impossible by the end. This one is for creative problem solving. You have a rope that is exactly 50 feet long and a building that is 75 feet tall. You need to measure the height of the building using only the rope and your own body, no other tools. You are 5 feet tall. How can you do this? Describe this in steps. Now, ChatGPT took 1 minute and 14 seconds to answer the O3 mini model here, but the answer kind of doesn't make sense. This final answer: hang the rope 50 feet over the top of the building. You have 25 feet left from the ground. Then use your own body, which is 5 feet, as a ruler to measure the rest. But how can you do that? You could only measure that 5 feet at a time. You can't just stand on top of yourself to keep doing that. So that doesn't quite add up. Now, DeepSeek actually thought for over 3 minutes, and he actually came up with a whole different way to solve it. By creating similar triangles with the rope and your body, you determine the building's height is 75 feet through proportional reasoning and folding a rope into segments that match your height. This one actually made a lot more sense to me than the other one where you kind of had to use your own body and stand on top of yourself to make up that 25 feet. Now, Gemini actually didn't give us a really easy formatted answer. He gave us these larger 5 steps, but he used the same technique, the similar triangle technique as DeepSeek. So I think DeepSeek and Gemini got it right. ChatGPT, this kind of doesn't make sense to me. If it makes sense to you, let me know in the comment section, but I think this is missing and the other technique actually works a lot better. Okay, question number 3 is going to be logical deduction. If the statement below is true, then the statement above is false. Is the statement above true or false? Explain your reasoning. Okay, I got 3 completely different answers this time. ChatGPT o3 says the statement is paradoxical, neither true nor false in a consistent way. DeepSeek, on the other hand, says the statement above is true, and Gemini, and DeepSeek thought for a while, 161 seconds. Gemini says, and Gemini had a lot of thinking this time to go through, but again, very fast output, even though it had to think a lot, and it said false. So we got true, we got false, and one that says it's neither true or false. Now, based on my answer key, the statement above is true is the only right answer. So the other 2 got it wrong. DeepSeek got it right. Okay, let me get to some practical prompts now. And by the way, if you're using reasoning models, you should keep your prompts relatively simple because these models break things down step by step. They think through a question in smaller questions. So you don't need to overly engineer your prompt and make it super long. A lot of times with ChatGPT 4.0, that is what we do. We want to give it a lot of context. These don't need that. Now, I actually have a free resource from HubSpot that I wanted to share with you. This is one of the most comprehensive prompt lists I've ever seen. It's over 1,000 expertly crafted prompts, and it will help you with productivity, strategy, content creation, building your business, branding, and much more. So if you're a marketer, entrepreneur, content creator, this is going to save you a lot of time. I actually personally found this marketing strategy section and this brand pricing strategy section prompts really helpful. You could see there's 1,000 prompts here, but they're organized into categories, makes it really easy to jump around. And these type of tasks really could benefit from reasoning models too. So if you need any type of strategy involved when you're using any type of chatbot, I've been using more and more of these reasoning models, using these type of prompts over the standard models like ChatGPT 4.0 or the regular Gemini. And you could get the entire prompt list in the description below this video. Thanks for HubSpot for sponsoring this video. Let's get to a coding question next. So in a previous coding test that I was doing, I asked it to create a game of chess I could run on my computer. And a couple of different models were actually able to do that relatively well. But people were saying, well, this kind of information is available online in the comment section. So I added something new to it to see if it could get this right. One rule that I want to change, the king can move like the queen. So we're going to test this to see if it can make a chess game. That's our first part of the test. The second part is if I change the logic of a chess game, is it going to be able to keep up with that too? Okay, I had the pieces saved on my computer already. Let's see if we could get this to work right. Let me just do a couple moves here. So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay, now let's see if it listened to my instructions. This is the queen, so that moved the right way. Now the king, oh, wow. Okay, so the king usually could only move one piece, and now, yes, it moves exactly like the queen. So can I take this piece? Is this gonna be checkmate? Oh, it doesn't know checkmate, but everything else up to that point, it got right. It just doesn't know the end game on how a game is going to end. Let me see if I take this one. Yeah, it doesn't know how a game ends. So that was ChatGPT, just one follow-up prompt to get a visual look out of it. Let's go to the next one on DeepSeek. Okay, I spent literally 10-15 minutes here with DeepSeek trying to get a working chess game, and it just kept having errors on pointing to those little icons that I had in my chess game. It just couldn't find it no matter what I did. And just to keep it fair, the other ones, it was literally one prompt, sometimes only a quick follow-up prompt to get a different visuals out of it. This one was like 10 prompts and I still don't have a working game. So DeepSeek is one of the losers here for this test. Okay, this one is from Gemini right over here. Let's see what we get. Oh, I'm getting the beach ball. No, it's not working. It looks really nice though. The graphics are really sharp. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working. Actually, I have a code debugging test coming up next, so I'll just save that for this. But right now, I'm not getting a functioning game without doing a follow-up prompt. The whole point of this test is coding right off the gate without a follow-up prompt to fix any errors like this one. I have to quit this app now. Okay, so for this one, I want to see how it actually interacts with anything you upload to it. So I give it a code file here. This is a Python code file for the chess game. Fix the bugs in this code and give me a working code. So I could do the exact same thing. I'm going to start with O3 Mini here. DeepSeek also has this option right here where I could upload documents to it. Well, it will extract the text only. So I'll run it through the same problem. Gemini, though, is going to lose this one right away because right now I could upload images, but I'm not going to be able to upload a code file or a text file of any kind. So that should be coming to Gemini. The regular Gemini has it, but this model right here, thinking model, does not have it, which is really going to limit it because a lot of times we're going to want to work with numbers. We're going to want to analyze documents. We're going to look at code. We can't do it with Gemini, so Gemini loses this one right away. Now, this is the code that Gemini could not run, the one that crashed. Now, O3 Mini fixed it. So let's see if the game works here. So far, so good. It definitely didn't crash. Let's try that. Okay, so far that's working well. Let's go over here. That's working well. Now, let's see if our king could actually move like a queen. So it should be able to take this even though it normally only moves one piece. So let's go here. Yep. That worked. Let's go here. Okay, I just moved a couple of pieces. Let me see if I could just get this checkmate right here. So if I move here, oh, okay. Now is it checkmate? Okay, now it's checkmate. Technically, it shouldn't have been able to take that piece, but it let me take that piece. So it's still missing a little bit of game logic on a chess game, but it did figure out the ending. I can't move any other pieces. All right, we got the one from DeepSeek. Let's go through the movements here. And let's see if this one is going to work right. So far, so good. No issues here. Let's move this guy. Okay, now let me just try to see if the queen moves the right way. Let's go over here. Okay, so it did move two pieces, but it shouldn't move there because now I could take it. So let's try that. And game should be over. Yep, game is over. So DeepSeek was also able to fix that issue, and he had the same logic issue here. My king, because it can now move more than one piece, I think is confusing it. So the king should have not been able to move up here for this pawn to take it. So it didn't give me an error message. But yeah, so far it's pretty much equal to what GPT-03 gave us. Okay, I want to try something pretty difficult here. I want to use its vision capabilities and its reasoning at the same time. I don't think it's going to be able to answer, but I want to see how it thinks through it. So I uploaded an image I made in Midjourney version 6, and I said which AI model made this image. So since they all could actually see that, even Gemini could see inside of an image, let's try it with all three. Okay, ChatGPT says after 5 seconds, I'm afraid there's no reliable way to tell which AI model produced this image. DeepSeek just gave me an error message because I guess it could only extract text from an image. It found no text, even though this does have text right over here. The chocolate says yum yum on it. And Gemini, after a bunch of thinking here, he actually went through a bunch of thinking, and it says the image was likely created using Midjourney. Wow. That's incredible. And here's why. Photorealistic style, artistic flair, and it's impossible to be 100% sure. But that's crazy that it gave me an answer that actually was right. Now, the next one is the most common way we use AI, and I want to see how these do, combining search as well as summarizing articles. I'm just going to ask, which is the best AI model right now? So really kind of a vague question to see how it responds. I'm going to turn on search for DeepSeek. And with Gemini, we need to choose this other model, Flash Thinking with apps, so he has access to search too. Okay, ChatGPT says ChatGPT 4.0 and 0.3 models are the best general purpose and conversational use. For multimodal and deep reasoning, is saying Google Gemini is the best. So far, I'm kind of in the same page here. For safety and specialized tasks, Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Yeah, that's pretty good. Cost efficiency, DeepSeek R1. Wow, this is actually a really good answer, I think, that he gave us. And this is the source that he pulled that information from. Now, DeepSeek general purpose, you got ChatGPT 4. This should be 4.0 though, not 4. Claude 3 Opus, not correct. 3.5 Sonnet is actually newer and better. And this is outdated too. So this did not seem to use the search function very well this time. Yeah, this is kind of outdated. It seems to be using its own knowledge base, which is, these models are usually outdated. So you do want to turn on search for things like this that needs more up-to-date information. I'll try one more time just in case there was a glitch on the search icon. Okay, it looks like it's actually fixing it through its own thinking. It says, the answer I gave was from mid-2024 data, but they're asking again for newer search results. Okay, so yeah, DeepSeek R1, Gemini Pro. Okay, now it's actually answering us correctly. Specialized models, open source models. Now, Gemini gave us the longest answer by far. He put Gemini right on top over here. GPT-4, again, not 4.0. Claude 3, not 3.5. So this had the same issues. Midjourney, DALL-E 3, these are good. What else? But there's newer models like Flux and things like that it's not telling us about. Yeah, this is sort of outdated too, I feel like, from the sources. Gemini Advanced 1.5. Again, this is a previous model, so this is not quite what I'm looking for. The whole point of this is to tell me the latest, greatest models, which is, I'm literally using it right here, and this is telling me a model that is older than that. So Google is supposed to be the best at search. I'm combining this reasoning with search, and it definitely failed here. So ChatGPT got it right the first time. DeepSeek got it right with a second follow-up prompt. And Gemini just kind of failed here and gave us just way too long of an answer. So put ChatGPT as the winner of this one. Now let's see how it deals with follow-up prompts here. I'm going to ask, what is the very best? Someone told me in the comment section that when they're having chats with these reasoning models, they actually forget everything they said previously. So let's make sure they could follow along. 0.3 Mini says, if I had to pick one, I will pick the latest GPT 4.0 or 0.3. Okay, so this is picking us two different models, one for general purpose, one for reasoning. I'm using 0.3 Mini here. Now DeepSeek picked its own model too. DeepSeek R1 scores 89 out of 100 in quality metrics, outperforming GPT 4.0. And it's given us the source where he got that from here. Now Gemini, interesting, it did not pick, even though it says right here Gemini, the conclusion is GPT 4.0. It thinks that's the best model. I will select GPT 4.0 as the single very best and provide the justification here of why that is. Very interesting. But again, this is using that source here because if I don't have search turned on, it's going to give me outdated information from his training data. Okay, for the next prompt, I'm going to use one of the hardest questions ever, and I got it from this test right here. It's called Humanities Last Exam. And just to show you some of the scores right now, GPT 4.0 scores 3% accuracy. Okay, 3%. 0.3 Mini, what I'm using right here, 10%. DeepSeek, 9%. So a long way to go. This is about 3,000 questions. I picked one for this prompt, and then I have some other videos coming up where I'm comparing 0.1 Pro and this other one, 0.3 Mini High, this other version that are part of the higher plans of ChatGPT. So I'll save a few, but let's go ahead and use one here. And this is actually multiple choice. In an alternate universe where the mass of the electron was 1% heavier and the charges of the electron and proton were both 1% smaller, but all other fundamental constants stayed the same, approximately how would the speed of sound in diamond change? Obviously, I have no idea, but I have the answer key and it's a multiple choice. So these are the different choices that is given us. Okay, ChatGPT, only 29 seconds, and he got the answer right. The answer is B, decreased by 1.5%. Okay, DeepSeek, 140 seconds. The answer is D, decreased by 0.5%. Not right. On this one, Gemini, the final answer is C. So they all got different answers, but ChatGPT is the only one that got this one right. Now I'm going to finish up with a math question that hasn't been solved for hundreds of years. Let me just kind of play this for you to explain what it is.
Goldbach's conjecture is an unsolved problem in number theory proposed by the German mathematician Christian Goldbach in 1742. It states, every even integer greater than 2 can be expressed as the sum of two prime numbers. For example, 4 equals 2 plus 2.
So it knows what problem this is, and it's kind of giving us a background. Despite being one of the oldest unsolved problems in math, the conjecture remains unproven. And I said, yes, I know that, but I want you to solve it for me. And just a few seconds later, it says, unfortunately, I can't solve this for you. So we're clearly not at the point where these models are going to solve problems that humans haven't solved yet. DeepSeek tried much harder, but it still says general proof remains elusive here. And yeah, we had 138 seconds trying to work through it, but obviously no definitive answer. Gemini says the same thing. It has not been proven true for all even numbers. One day I spent 2 hours really pushing these models to try to give me an answer. And no matter what I would ask it, it just literally wouldn't even go to try to solve it. It just kept giving me the same thing. So definitely we're not at a point where these are going to solve this type of problem. Okay, so this graphic shows the result of all the different prompts across all the 3 models that we tested to figure out which is the best reasoning model. Obviously, some models do better at some things. Some models just have functionality issues. So I can't upload documents, for example, inside of Gemini. But really interesting test. Let me know which one is your favorite. Thanks again for HubSpot for sponsoring this video. Make sure you grab that free resource linked in the description below, and I will catch you on the next video.